But look at how long. 5-time, 7-time All-Star. She been in the league 7 years? Bro, how come ain't nobody know about Asia Wilson until Caitlin got here? I'm just saying. If Asia Wilson was this damn good, this dynamic of a player, why come the viewership is the way it is? Now, why come we didn't know about Asia Wilson 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago?
Asia Wilson is furious. The EuroLeague just dropped a bombshell report claiming Caitlin Clark is worth 10 times more than any other WNBA player, and it's got the basketball world spinning. Sponsors overseas are calling Clark a billion-dollar engine for women's hoops, while the league's own MVP is left wondering how she got pushed to the sidelines. Clark's value isn't just shocking, it's humiliating for everyone who thought the WNBA was the top of the mountain.
People comparing Asia Wilson to Bill Russell, and bro, if the Indiana Fever had Caitlin Clark, hell, not even Caitlin, had Kelsey Mitchell not got hurt, I believe the Indiana Fever would have beaten the Las Vegas Aces. Tell the whole story. Like, don't get up here trying to sit up here like this is a dynasty of a damn team and all this and that because they went on their little winning streak. I don't want to hear none of that shit. If the Fever was the Fever originally, the Las Vegas Aces would not have a championship. They stole this one. This is the last one they're going to get for a mighty long time.
But how did a rookie from Iowa turn into a global cash machine? And why did it make Asia Wilson snap? The EuroLeague report didn't just compare salaries, it compared power. And when the numbers came out, it exposed a massive truth that the WNBA has been trying to hide for months. Caitlin Clark isn't just the most valuable rookie, she's the entire brand. While Asia Wilson dominates the court, Caitlin Clark dominates the world. Her name alone moves millions. Jersey sales, sponsorships, ticket prices, everything connected to Clark turns into money.
TV ratings are up 300% since Caitlin Clark entered the league. Her games averaged 1.2 million viewers. Her return game peaked at 2.8 million viewers on ABC, one of the highest ever. This is in the middle of a random game in the season. She's featured nearly half of the most watched WNBA games, period. And I would argue that she brought a lot of attention to the league in and of itself, not just her. Clark is responsible for 26% of all WNBA economic activity. She's expected to help drive $875 million to $1 billion in 2025 revenue. The Fever's franchise value jumped from $900 million to $340 million. Oh my God, they need to pay this girl.
The report said her EuroLeague market value could exceed $10 million a year, with global brands lining up to attach their logos to her name. And that's when Asia Wilson lost it. Because here's the thing, Asia's not just any player. She's the reigning MVP, a champion, a defensive monster, and one of the faces that built the modern WNBA. She's worked for years to earn respect.
This dynamic of a player, why come the viewership is the way it is? Now, why come we didn't know about Asia Wilson 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago? Why come we ain't know about her then? Why we ain't know about Asia Wilson then, bro? I don't want to hear none of that. If it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, wouldn't nobody care about Asia Wilson, bro? Wouldn't nobody care, bro?
Yet somehow, a rookie came in, played one season, and suddenly became the league's financial messiah. The timing couldn't have been worse. Nike had already signed Caitlin to that record-breaking $28 million deal, the biggest endorsement in women's basketball history. But what happened after? Nothing. No commercials, no merch drop, no signature shoe, just silence. And that silence turned into noise. People started to ask, what's going on? Why would Nike give Clark that kind of money and then completely ghost her? Rumors started flying. Some said Nike was terrified, scared of backlash if they gave a white rookie her own shoe before Asia Wilson, their longtime athlete and reigning MVP. That's when Asia posted her infamous line, not directly aimed at Clark, but everyone knew what she meant. She basically said, what's delayed isn't denied. Translation, she was tired of being overlooked. And that one post lit social media on fire. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion. Half the internet said Clark's popularity was good for the game. The other half said it was corporate favoritism, a reflection of who the media chooses to hype. But underneath the drama, there was a deeper issue nobody wanted to say out loud: race, marketability, and what sells in women's sports. Commentators started revisiting old history. How Nike once gave Sheryl Swoopes the first ever women's signature shoe back in the 90s, a huge step for representation. But since then, nearly every woman to get her own line had been white. So when Nike crowned Clark before honoring Asia, it didn't feel like progress. It felt like deja vu. Then came the twist. Leaked reports claimed Nike was delaying Clark's signature shoe until 2026. The reason? Optics. They supposedly didn't want to anger fans by putting Clark's line out before Wilson's. That rumor hit like a bomb, because if it was true, it meant Nike had created a mess so big they were paralyzed, caught between two of their own stars. Meanwhile, the EuroLeague didn't care about optics. They saw dollar signs. Clark's international fame was exploding. Her highlights were trending in Europe. Her name was selling out arenas across the US, and fans overseas were literally begging their teams to sign her for the offseason. And that's when Asia's frustration hit its breaking point. She'd just led her team to another dominant season, but the world only wanted to talk about Caitlin Clark. Every headline, every debate show, every sponsorship conversation came back to her. Asia's fans started pushing back, saying she deserved the same treatment. They argued she is the WNBA's foundation, not the rookie. That she's earned her place through sweat and championships, not media hype. But that argument didn't change the numbers. Caitlin Clark was pulling in more global attention than the entire league combined. The EuroLeague report confirmed it. Her sponsorship reach, her fan engagement, and her ability to sell tickets dwarfed everyone else. That's why this story blew up. Because it wasn't just about two players. It was about what defines value in sports: proven dominance or commercial impact. And while A'ja Wilson saw a rookie skipping the line, the world saw something else: the first true global superstar of women's basketball. Then everything flipped overnight. After months of silence and speculation, Nike finally broke the tension, announcing that A'ja Wilson would be getting her own signature shoe, the A1, set for release in 2025. Fans went wild, but then came the twist that nobody saw coming. A'ja had known about the deal for 2 years. She'd been under a non-disclosure agreement the whole time. So while fans were out here fighting her battles on social media, defending her against Nike, and calling for justice, A'ja already knew she had her own shoe in the works. That revelation changed everything. It meant the feud, the jealousy, the outrage, all of it had been amplified by rumor and timing. Nike wasn't ignoring her. They were playing the long game. But by then, it didn't matter. The world had already decided whose story they cared about: Caitlin Clark's. Because while Nike was quietly handling contracts, Clark was actively rewriting history. She wasn't just selling jerseys. She was selling out entire NBA arenas. Every game she touched turned into a national event. Broadcasters couldn't stop talking about her. Overseas leagues started calling, and the EuroLeague, the same one that called her a $10 million player, is reportedly ready to make a move to bring her across the ocean. So when A'ja's shoe deal finally became public, it didn't land like a victory. It felt like a consolation prize. Because no matter what Nike or the WNBA did next, the narrative was already set. Caitlin Clark isn't chasing anyone. The world is chasing her. And that's the part that stings. Because for A'ja, this was never about money. It was about respect. She'd built her career.
Well, lads, this was a huge announcement by Unrivaled, and this is something that is very interesting because this kind of changed things. So Unrivaled, for me, they have announced a lot of players that are playing in Unrivaled this year, and Angel Reese is another player who is not currently on the Unrivaled list.
Angel Reese just got fired, and no one's shocked. After months of chaos, controversy, and missed games, the Unrivaled League has finally pulled the plug on one of women's basketball's loudest stars.
Lads, Hailey Van Lith said she's playing Unrivaled. I'm just putting it out there. HVL said she's playing in Unrivaled. And obviously Sabrina's not there. But like, neither is Angel Reese. Angel Reese has not currently been announced for Unrivaled. Which is huge, because let's be real, Angel Reese is the biggest draw in Unrivaled.
The league that once called her its crown jewel has gone radio silent. No post, no statement, just one thing missing, her name. And that silence, it says everything. Because when Unrivaled dropped its new season roster, fans noticed instantly, Angel Reese was gone. No mention, no tribute, not even a subtle thanks for the memories. So what really happened behind the scenes? Was this a quiet breakup dressed up as a business decision? Or did the league finally get tired of the drama it once promoted?
It's looking spooky. Angel Reese got suspended. Angel Reese threw her team under the bus. When the hell did this happen, bro? I take a few hours off, go have some dinner, chill, live my life like a regular, real American. And I'm telling you right now, boy, all hell done broke loose. Now, I'm going to try to track this thing as best I can because I'm still kind of gathering all the pieces. But from my understanding, there was an article that came out where Angel Reese was like, you know what? I don't want to be here. I don't like these players. I don't care about none of this. Get me the hell out of Chicago.
To understand how we got here, you have to remember how hard Unrivaled pushed Angel Reese in the beginning. She wasn't just a player, she was the brand. Billboards, promo shoots, highlight reels, all built around her name. She was marketed as the spark, the swagger, the edge that women's basketball supposedly needed. And to be fair, it worked, at first. Reese's debut in Unrivaled's inaugural season exploded online. Views spiked, her interviews went viral, and the league's first ever championship run had her face front and center. She even walked away with the Defensive Player of the Year award and an all-Unrivaled second-team nod. On paper, she was winning. But the story that fans saw online didn't match what insiders were whispering.
This is my MVP, everybody, right here. She didn't win it, but she should have. Bang! Did, however, win Defensive Player of the Year. I would have given it to the rim. Bang! Best plays from the best player on this account only, right here. Bang! Oh yeah, you gotta see this one. This is a personal favorite. Hand-eye coordination, the footwork. Bang! Another fan favorite, wide open. Bang! Greatest to ever get their shot blocked, right here. Bang! MVP! MVP! Secret Service! We got a shooter, top of the building. Bang! Another fan favorite, the touch and finesse. Beautiful, and then her grace. Bang! All my lady listeners, if she can do this, I believe in your chances. Never give up. Never! Again, she is my MVP. I want to reiterate. Bang! Best jumper I've ever seen. She leaps out of a gym. The relentless motor on her. She won't stop missing. No one has the drive to miss baskets quite like her. Shot number 2. Bang! One more time. Last one. Bang!
Behind the highlights, there were warning signs, constant technical fouls, turnovers stacking up, sideline arguments caught on camera, and teammates quietly frustrated that her energy didn't always translate to effort. Then came the playoff controversy. While her team was pushing toward the finals, Angel Reese was somewhere else. Not injured, not suspended, just absent. She celebrated that championship through a phone screen, FaceTiming the team instead of suiting up with them. Fans called it self-care. The league called it unavailable. But the internet called it what it looked like, a bad look. After that, things started unraveling fast. Her social media presence became bigger than her stat lines. She launched podcasts.
Let's clock some tea real quick.
Branded content, sponsorship shoots, all while fans wondered whether basketball was still her priority. Meanwhile, over in the WNBA, her Chicago Sky campaign looked eerily similar. Injuries that ended her seasons early, then brand deals and red carpet photos that made people question just how hurt she really was. By late 2025, the narrative had shifted. Angel Reese wasn't being introduced as the league's future anymore. She was being labeled its distraction. Inside sources say sponsors were growing nervous. When a player trends more for shade posts than shot percentages, that's a red flag for any brand. The math stopped adding up. Sure, she brought in millions of views, but ticket sales dropped and engagement dipped after the initial hype faded. As one executive reportedly put it, virality doesn't pay rent. So when Unrivaled announced season 2 and her name didn't appear, insiders weren't surprised, just relieved. No press conference, no farewell post, no PR spin, just quiet removal. The league didn't even bother pretending it was an oversight. Because, let's be honest, if Unrivaled wanted her back, we'd all know it. Instead, what we got was silence. Strategic silence. Now here's where the drama really explodes, because this isn't just about one player losing a spot. It's about an entire shift in women's basketball. Unrivaled's decision, whether you call it firing, cutting, or ghosting, sends a loud message. The league is done rewarding chaos. They built their image around personality and provocation, but they've finally realized charisma without commitment doesn't sell long-term. Meanwhile, a very different kind of player is taking over the spotlight, Caitlin Clark. While Reese was chasing clicks, Clark was chasing wins. She's become the league's blueprint for professionalism. No theatrics, no diva moments, just results. Her Fever teammates play freer because of her. Attendance is up, sponsors are lining up, and fans are actually watching full games again. That's the real difference. Substance over spectacle. And when you compare Clark's calm leadership to Reese's constant volatility, it's clear why Unrivaled hit the mute button. They didn't fire a player, they fired a philosophy. Still, even with all the noise, you can't deny Angel Reese's influence. She made women's basketball louder, flashier, and impossible to ignore. Love her or hate her, she dragged the sport into mainstream conversation. But that kind of spotlight burns fast, and now she's feeling the heat. As for Unrivaled, the message is crystal clear. Accountability beats attitude. The league is rebooting its image, and the days of letting one star dominate the headlines are over. Yet the biggest question remains, what's next for Angel Reese? Will she fight her way back into Unrivaled, prove everyone wrong, and stage a comeback? Or will she double down, lean into the villain role, and take her brand somewhere new? Maybe a podcast empire, or her own independent league. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that Angel Reese doesn't go down quietly. This firing might have ended her run in Unrivaled, but the backlash? That's just beginning. So what do you think? Did Unrivaled make the right call cutting her loose? Or did they just lose the very player who built their buzz? Drop your take in the comments below. And if you're still watching, type Reese fired so we know who made it to the end. Stay tuned, because this story isn't over, and the fallout's about to get messy.
It's very uncertain for the entire league in general, but you're a free agent for the first time. Have you thought about what free agency might look like for you if you'd like to be back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a restricted free agent, so I think that changes things a little bit, but I've loved my years here in Indiana. So obviously with a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's to come, but I've built a life here, and I love this franchise. I love the people, I love the fans, so we'll see what comes. Elliot?
Caitlin Clark just broke down in front of cameras, struggling to hold it together as she said goodbye to her closest teammate, Lexi Hull. This wasn't just another farewell interview. It was raw, emotional, and left Indiana Fever fans in tears.
Hey, you know, it's sad. I think, especially when you push a game to overtime and you fight for so long, your expectations are to win, obviously, and so to lose is sad, but I think arm in arm, all of us together, we can look at each other and be proud of each other. So it's a moment of love for sure.
But behind that moment lies a story most people missed. A story about loyalty, chaos, and what happens when friendship gets caught in the middle of a franchise falling apart.
It's just sad to see this group be done.
Coach was saying that
Lexi Hull's exit hit harder than anyone expected. She wasn't just another player. She was Caitlin Clark's anchor, the teammate who had her back through a season filled with injuries, controversy, and crushing losses. When Lexi spoke about free agency, her words were careful, but her tone said everything. "There's a lot of uncertainty," she said softly. "We'll see what comes."
Yeah, I mean, I'm a restricted free agent, so I think that changes things a little bit, but I've loved my years here in Indiana. So obviously with a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's to come, but I've built a life here, and I love this franchise. I love the people, I love the fans, so we'll see what comes.
That's athlete code for "I'm leaving," and she did. Lexi officially walked away from the Indiana Fever, and her emotional goodbye sent shockwaves through the WNBA community. Because for Caitlin Clark, this wasn't just losing a teammate, it was losing one of the only people she truly trusted in that locker room. The Fever's season was chaos from start to finish. Rotations changed weekly, roles shifted overnight, and the noise around Caitlin Clark was deafening. Through it all, Lexi was the quiet constant, diving for loose balls, switching positions, and adapting to anything thrown her way. She kept things stable when everything else was falling apart. But that adaptability came at a cost. In her final interview, Lexi sounded exhausted, emotionally drained from having to reinvent herself game after game. She praised her teammates and the fans, but never once mentioned the front office. That silence spoke louder than any words could. She loved Indiana, but not the instability surrounding it. Then came her next move, joining Unrivaled, the new off-season league led by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. It was more than a side project, it was a statement. Lexi wanted control, stability, and respect. Things she wasn't getting in Indiana. She'd seen enough of how uncertain the WNBA landscape had become. Between talk of a possible lockout, the ongoing CBA negotiations, and inconsistent management decisions, Lexi wanted a future she could count on. Still, her respect for Caitlin never wavered. When asked about her rookie teammate, Lexi's voice cracked slightly. She said watching Caitlin struggle with injuries was really hard, and that she was proud of how the team fought for those who couldn't play.
Lexi, what was it like for you to see your bestie Caitlin struggle throughout the season and just all the time that she had to invest in the training room and all that treatment, then ultimately unable to get back?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard. I think when you have someone that's so competitive and really so much of what brings them joy is being out on the court and fighting and winning games and competing, and seeing her just struggle not to be able to get back to that place this season, it's really hard. And you don't want that for anybody. You don't want that especially for someone that you know that our team counts on, our fans want to see, you know them personally want to be out there, so it's just really hard. But I think at the end of the day, just really proud of her ability to continue to show up. It's not easy to come in before we leave for a flight and get a workout in and show up and just continue to be a positive energy. So just proud of her from that aspect, and I know she's going to come back stronger than ever with a little bit more hunger than I think she's ever had.
That subtle line for the people who couldn't be out there hit every Fever fan right in the chest. Because Lexi wasn't just leaving a team, she was leaving a bond. On and off the court, she and Caitlin were inseparable. They practiced together, shared interviews, and were often the last two standing after another painful loss. When Clark was double-teamed, Lexi was the one cutting, screening, or bailing her out. When Clark faced the media after tough losses, Lexi sat beside her, quiet but steady. Now that support system is gone, and for a 23-year-old superstar already carrying the weight of an entire league, that's devastating. You could feel the pain in Caitlin's voice during her farewell comments. She tried to keep it together, but her emotions got the best of her. For her, Lexi wasn't just a teammate. She was family. The one person who truly understood what it felt like to be under a microscope every single day. Caitlin has always been known for her fire, her confidence, and her ability to block out the noise. But this moment broke that image. You could see the tears, the frustration, and the exhaustion. She's realizing that being the face of a franchise doesn't mean much if you're standing alone. Lexi Hull's departure is a warning sign for the Fever organization. If someone as loyal and hardworking as Lexi walks away, it means morale inside that locker room is dangerously low. She wasn't running from the challenge, she was tired of chaos. But here's the twist. This heartbreak might be exactly what Caitlin Clark needs to evolve. Without Lexi, there's no safety net, no quiet anchor, no one to soften the spotlight or steady the noise. She'll have to lead, not as a rookie phenom, but as the face of a franchise in flux. The pressure will be brutal. Every move she makes will be dissected. Every teammate relationship will be compared to what she had with Lexi. And you know what's coming next. The narrative that nobody wants to play with Caitlin Clark. The second Lexi signs somewhere else, social media will explode with takes and half-truths. But maybe this is her turning point. We've seen Clark's attitude before. The same intense fire that made her a college legend. Now, she'll have to channel that into leadership. She'll need to build new chemistry from scratch, earn trust from teammates who might not yet believe in the vision, and prove she's not just a highlight reel. She's a builder of culture. Still, this goodbye hurts. The fans felt it, the locker room felt it, and Caitlin Clark definitely felt it. Because this wasn't just the end of a season, it was the end of a chapter that never got the chance to fully bloom. Lexi Hull's departure leaves a void that no draft pick or free agent can easily fill. She wasn't the top scorer or the face of the team, but she was the heartbeat. And now, Caitlin Clark must find a new rhythm without her closest ally. The Fever's front office needs to act fast. They can't afford another year of instability. If Caitlin's going to lead, she needs a team around her that's consistent, loyal, and ready to grow. Otherwise, next season could turn ugly fast. Because no matter how bright one star shines, she can't hold up an entire galaxy on her own. But knowing Caitlin Clark, this pain will fuel her. Every criticism, every doubt, every tear shed in that goodbye will be stored away for the moment she steps back on the court. She's been underestimated before, and every single time she's turned heartbreak into history. This time won't be any different. If you're still watching, drop "Goodbye Lexi" in the comments to show you were part of this emotional moment. Because this wasn't just a farewell between teammates. It was the start of Caitlin Clark's next chapter, one that begins not with a highlight, but with heartbreak, and maybe, just maybe, the rise of a true leader. About to get messy.